we are going to talk about the values of trigonometric ratios for standard angles. I have an x and a y axis here, and if I go to the right 1 unit, I will be at the point 1, 0. If I go up 1 unit, I will be at the point 0, 1. Left 1 unit will be the point -1, 0. And down 1 unit will be the point 0, -1. This is the beginning of my discussion on the unit circle. In a unit circle, the radius is 1. I will be using the unit circle to help me solve these problems. I will also be using right triangles to help me solve these problems. In this right triangle, notice that the hypotenuse is 1. In this right triangle, the hypotenuse is 1. I will be using several right triangles that have a hypotenuse of 1 to help me solve these problems. Now let's discuss a few more things about right triangles before we start the problems. In a 30-60 right triangle, we know that the side opposite the 30-degree angle is half of the hypotenuse. Well, if the hypotenuse is 1, the side opposite the 30-degree angle is 1/2. And the side opposite the 60-degree angle will be the square root of 3 over 2. These are very important numbers to remember. In a 45-45 right triangle, we know that the legs of the triangle are equal. In this case, with the hypotenuse being 1, the legs are both the square root of 2 over 2. The sine of an angle is the length of the leg opposite the angle divided by the length of the hypotenuse. A cosine of an angle is the length of the leg adjacent to the angle divided by the length of the hypotenuse. And the tangent is the length of the leg opposite the angle divided by the length of the leg adjacent to the angle. Sometimes we also refer to tangent as equaling the sine over the cosine. You will also hear teachers talk about SOHCAHTOA. The sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent is opposite over adjacent. The secant of an angle is equal to 1 over cosine, cosecant is equal to 1 over sine, and finally cotangent is equal to 1 over the tangent. Let's work some problems. What is the sine of 45 degrees? I will begin by drawing a 45-degree angle, and then I will use a right triangle to help me solve this problem. In order to get to this point on the unit circle, I had to go to the right square root of 2 over 2 and up square root of 2 over 2. The ordered pair associated with this point is the square root of 2 over 2, the square root of 2 over 2. And the sine is the y-coordinate of this ordered pair. So the sine of 45 degrees is the square root of 2 over 2. What is the cosine of 150 degrees? So this was 90 degrees, and then 60 more made this 150 degrees. So I will insert my right triangle, and I am looking for the coordinates of this point on the unit circle. In order to get to this point, I had to go to the left square root of 3 over 2, so that would be a negative, and then I went up 1/2. The ordered pair associated with this point is negative square root of 3 over 2, 1/2. And the cosine is the x-coordinate of this point. So the cosine of 150 degrees is negative square root of 3 over 2. The secant of 240 degrees. Well, let's find 240 degrees first. I will have to go 180 degrees. Then I will have to go another 60 degrees because 180 plus 60 is 240 degrees. This is the ordered pair that I'm looking for. Let's plug in my right triangle To get to this ordered pair, I would have to go to the left 1/2 and down square root of 3 over 2. The ordered pair associated with this point is negative 1/2, negative square root of 3 over 2. Now the secant of 240 degrees is equal to 1 over the cosine of 240 degrees. Well, the cosine is the x-coordinate, so that will be negative 1/2. So that will equal 1 over negative 1/2, which is equal to negative 2. The secant of 240 degrees is equal to negative 2. Let's try one more problem. The sine of negative 60 degrees. Well, let me draw the angle. Negative 60 will be in the 4th quadrant. Now, this is the same as if I went 180 degrees. 90 more is at 270 degrees, and 30 more will be 300 degrees. Negative 60 degrees is the same as 300 degrees. Let me insert my right triangle. And in order to get to this point on my unit circle, I would go to the right 1/2 and down square root of 3 over 2. This is the point 1/2 negative square root of 3 over 2. The sine is the y-coordinate, so the sine of negative 60 degrees is equal to negative square root of 3 over 2.